All right. Hey everyone. I have the honor to have Tim O'Brien from The Healthy Place join us as we're going to talk about, I feel like a topic that I get asked quite a bit, and I'm sure you do too, Tim. And it comes down to quality of supplements, why that matters. But before just getting into that, a lot of you may know who I am. I'm Dr. Eric Krasinski. I am a pediatric and family wellness chiropractor here at Adio Chiropractic. And I'll just have Tim do a little short intro, and then we'll get into some questions about quality of supplements.
Thank you, Dr. Eric, for having me. You are awesome. Beyond bringing my own kiddo to you and seeing some very cool results. I love your methodology. Love the way you look at health. You've always been an encouragement and inspiration to both myself, a lot of my staff, and our community. So thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
As Dr. Eric said, my name is Tim O'Brien. I own The Healthy Place, which is a supplement vitamin set of stores. We have 4 stores in the Madison area, and our website is findyourhealthyplace.com. And Becky and I run and own the company together. That's my wife. And we just have a mission, impact, empower, and educate as many people as we can in the area of their health. We get really excited when we get to minimize suffering with somebody, say they're dealing with chronic pain, depression, anxiety, stress. We also just get excited about increasing people's quality of life and remind them the power of living a life that is full of health and vibrancy. So excited about this topic too. Supplements are sort of my expertise, and I know Dr. Eric likes that too. So
Yes. Well, let's get into the questions and that stuff. So, when it comes to quality of supplements, can you tell us why really sourcing and the contaminants and toxins are a concern in this industry?
Yeah, so it's pretty wild. When people go buy a bottle of vitamin C, they just think it's vitamin C, and they don't really think about where it's coming from, how it was processed, which parts were at play, if the company's tested for heavy metals or arsenic, where on the planet that it's coming from. They're all important questions. And so when you look at something as simple as vitamin C, most of the vitamin C on the planet is being sourced out of China. So when it comes to supplements, China is not a great place to source supplements because of some of their quality control problems. Even when you think of China, you see people wearing, their masks everywhere. Long before the coronavirus, they were all wearing masks because of the pollution concerns. And when you look at the vitamin C content, whether it's arsenic or heavy metals in that, sourcing and toxicity is a really big deal. Mm-hmm. And most companies do not work with a manufacturer that would third-party test for contaminants, for heavy metals, for items like arsenic, and people would be supplementing and just like, picture this, like breaks my heart. Somebody is ambitious enough to supplement with something as simple as vitamin C every day because they care about their health. They know science is real on strengthening the vitamin or the immune system in the body with vitamin C. We know Linus Pauling, it's like the orange. We know that's proven. And then imagine supplementing with something every single day that has toxins in it. Like, we live in a world full of toxicity and deficiencies. And so now we're supplementing with something good that also has something that's poison in it. Is like, breaks my heart in the supplement space. So it's really important to be aware of that, and to work with brands that protect you from that.
Yeah. And I think you just kind of touched up a little bit onto that next question too, of that all manufacturer companies are all different, and why that actually probably should be a big deal, because you got to trust the product that you're actually getting. So is, I guess, maybe elaborating a little bit more on the supplement manufacturer and why that is a big deal, potentially.
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, the FDA is there to protect us. And in the area of food, I learned this from Dr. Whitaker, who a decade ago used to watch all the food. He was responsible for all the food that came into our country. And he said only 2% of the food that comes into our country is actually like surveyed, checked out, insured for there's not, whatever disease on our food, right? And which could be all matter of things. With the supplement space, the FDA has regulations, but they're not checking out every company for quality control. And thankfully, they're actually getting things a little tighter, which is helpful. I love regulations from the FDA because it protects all of us, and those that are willing to do it the honest way, can still make a living, and we can protect the consumer. So then what happens, since the FDA is not, vetting, checking out every single brand unless they're invited in, then you have a lot of concern out there. On a label, it might say vitamin C, but it might not have any vitamin C in there, which is like mind blowing. There was a study done, was just kind of like I don't know if you'd call it a full study, but they took products from Target, from Walmart, from GNC, and from Walgreens, which are just 4 top platforms in our country to get supplements from. And then they tested some of those bottles. And there was one that said echinacea on it that had 0% Eric. It's 0% echinacea, and it actually had a little bit of garlic in there. It's like, what in the world? I mean, this is from a huge box store, right? Like, how is this okay? It's not okay. And so then working with manufacturers that are, protecting and ensuring what it says on the label is actually in the product becomes essential. So for me, I'm always thankful for people's business, but I don't need to get everybody's business. I just encourage people, don't go to the big box stores for your supplements. Like health food stores in your community, they're going to be a much safer and better place because you have store operators and buyers and managers that are passionate about helping people live better quality of life. They're going to work with brands for the most part. You can find some corners being cut, anywhere, I guess. You're going to find people that are more committed to a quality brands and brands that you can trust. So for our community, the Healthy Place with our 4 stores, we end up being that people, because we don't have, you don't have 40 hours a day to go study all of this, right? So that's our job. And what I encourage people is just get someone on your team that can help guide you in this space. Like, what are the crap brands? What are the good brands? What are the best brands? And who's watching all of this? I'll give you an example. There's a brand that I really used to like, and they broke into the whole food nutrient space, 20, 30 years ago, New Chapter, and, used to be a great brand. And then they sold to Procter and Gamble, maybe 10 plus years ago. And so then the quality, you just watch it from my perspective, you just watch that quality go down, because now it's more about money versus the original owner's intent. Garden of Life, Jordan Rubin.
That was actually what I was going to bring up.
Yeah. Oh, is it? Yeah. Jordan Rubin. I mean, he fought through Crohn's disease. He has a book, Heal Thyself. And it's a very cool story about how he healed himself through nutrients, nutrition, supplementation. And then he sold, the company, and it just went downhill. Enzymatic therapy. Terry Lamarond is one of my heroes in the industry, lives up in Green Bay. He mentors me. I get to meet with him quarterly. He sold enzymatic therapy about 15 years ago, built it to a huge, huge brand, sold it, decided to retire. And, he watched it. He still tells me this day he regrets selling it because the quality of the company, cheap keeping in the formulas. So it's important to be aware of these things as we make our buying decisions.
Yep. And even in that realm too, where you just said, like, even like watching the brands that maybe had good quality and then watching them over the years, with that, because, just because they were good at one point doesn't mean that they didn't lose the quality over time. So
exactly. And there's things consumers can look for. I mean, Lively Vitamin Company is a brand that my wife and I started a couple years ago, and we started to sell it to other retailers. And that I was, been pretty passionate about getting the word out on that now because we're excited about the brand. Obviously, there's things consumers can look for, like NSF. NSF certification is a super stringent certification that it brings up the level quite a lot. You got to jump through a lot of hoops. My manufacturer does in order to. So we'll submit, for example, label claim, and it'll say something on it, and then they'll send back like, hey, actually, you can't say it that way because that could give this impression, or you're making a claim here that's too strong, and you need to be able to substantiate that. And so then we go back to the drawing board, and it's just a really cool certification that keeps everybody safe. GMP certification is important too. It's a scheme that provides independent verification and certification that the basic manufacturing practices and prerequisites necessary for food, supplementation, safety program are being followed. Another thing, an important kind of point that good manufacturers play is wherever they source from, that they're FDA vetted places. My manufacturer, because we create some hemp products with our brand Wild Theory that we own, and we wanted to source from a cool organic farm that we had met and made a relationship. So it was a cool idea. But our manufacturer is like, well, we'd actually have to fly there once per year to make sure that all these things are in order. And it was like a really intense process for them to like build a relationship with where they were buying from. So I thought that, well, I was bummed that it didn't work out with that specific organic farmer that I wanted to build that relationship with. I was excited by the idea that the better manufacturers, they know who they're working with. They know who they're sourcing from. And in order to maintain NSF certification, they actually have to fly once a year to get eyes on the ground. What's actually going on here. Terry's a guy I told you when I was putting the Lively Vitamin brand together. He's like, fly down there, learn what your manufacturers. He's like, one time I was working with a manufacturer and I went and visited them, and it was in a garage. I was like, holy buckets. So anyway, it's eye opening.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. And I guess getting into the next question, I know there's multiple forms of each nutrient that are really good, better, and best. And can you explain why it's important to use the best?
Yeah. So, again, you look at just a basic nutrient. Everyone knows about like B12. Yeah. B12 is good for energy. It's good for cognitive health. For vegetarians and vegans, they're often deficient in B12, so they supplement with it. And B12 comes in different forms. There's cyanocobalamin, there's dibencoxide, there's methylcobalamin. And again, who has time to like seek out all this? Just give me a B12, dang it. You know? So what people don't know is cyanocobalamin is synthetic. Your body needs to convert it into B12, real B12, in order to utilize it. So now when someone's seeking out more energy, they want more energy, they go to Walgreens, they buy a cyanocobalamin B12, and they don't feel very much off of it, then they're still fatigued and they give up on supplements. I mean, that's like the storyline that I've seen play out 1,000 times, which is why I'll try to like push people towards whether it's the Healthy Place or a health food store in their community that they really trust. Because methylcobalamin B12, which is the natural form, is bioactive. Your body absorbs it, receives it, assimilates it really, really well. And so now all of a sudden that customer feels more energy and they're feeling a little bit better and their stress is a little bit lower and their immune system is a little stronger. So now it's a different storyline. The next time they have headaches or digestive issues or concerns or a degenerative disease that their mom got, that they're worried about getting, now all of a sudden they're like, they've seen natural supplementation work to help their health. And they're inspired then to try something natural again, because the opposite of that is you just go down this pharmaceutical drug path that ends up with you taking 50 different pharmaceutical drugs at the age of 80 and feeling like crap, and I see that play out a lot too. So you and I both, we're trying to inspire a little bit of change with how we think about health and supplementation and dealing with these struggles and conditions. So forms are huge. I mean, every single nutrient has different forms. Vitamin C, ascorbic acid, sodium ascorbate, calcium ascorbate, vitamin A, you can just go down the list. So a really good quality multivitamin, for example, will have all your highest forms and you'll really feel a difference there. Not to pick on Mega Cellular like One A Day or Centrum, people don't feel any difference on it. And that's because they're heat compressed with 20,000 pounds of pressure into little stones. So it's like this little rock going through your body and it's all synthetic, low grade forms of these nutrients. So people don't feel anything. So then even most doctors are like, skip the multi, not really helping anyway. And they're right in regards to Centrum One a day. Skip it. It's not worth it. When you look at a real high quality multivitamin, you feel that difference. You feel a boost to energy. You feel more mental clarity and focus. You see hair, skin, and nail benefits. So again, quality, forms, it's everything.
Yeah. And I actually, because way back before I knew what I know now, like I was like, why even take a supplement? Like I was like, all supplements are like this, multis are just a waste. And then I started learning about, multivitamins and that they're not all the same, and this whole thing with the same supplement world. So it kind of expanded my world too, and looked at things differently. And that's where and that's where quality matters, because food is medicine, but not all food is the same either. McDonald's cheeseburger and actually grass-fed, grass-finished ground beef burger is completely different, because one has a whole lot more toxins and chemicals in it than the other. So like same thing with food.
Actually, just to add to that, it's like 100 years ago, people ask the question, 100 years ago, they didn't supplement, what's going on? And that's such a good question, right? And it's like, why 100 years? So 100 years ago, there was not the volume of toxicity in our day-to-day world. Pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, the toxicity from cleaning products and makeup and deodorant and aluminum. And, you look at our world today, or the United States, even worse, there's 30,000 chemicals we use in the US that are illegal over in Europe, like totally illegal. And that's one side of this perfect storm, this toxicity that 100 years ago we didn't have. Second thing is the amount of deficiency in our foods. They used to, every 7th year, so they'd let the ground rest. Farmers would just skip a year for the nutrition to get back in the soil. Many will add fertilizer, but it only has 3 out of the 52 minerals needed to really have a robust, nutritious crop. Mm-hmm. And so it's a very different world we live in today, which is why we need to be more aware, like you're pointing out, food, the foods that we're eating, the quality, the sourcing of our food, how it's processed. The same in the supplement light. We all have deficiencies in one way or another. So then to be supplementing on a regular basis to fill some of those deficiencies, if you want to thrive, it's one thing to follow the daily value, the Wheaties box that has 100% of all your daily value. Ooh, that's all you need to eat is Wheaties. We all know that's not true. The daily value is just what you need to survive, not thrive and to really be healthy.
They haven't updated those values in years.
Like 50 years. And I heard that they built that off of a group of 25 dudes that were in the military and asking the question, what amount of nutrients do they need per day to stay alive? That was the driver behind discovering those numbers, which I thought was interesting.
If you think about most military people are probably more fit, where 60% of the United States population is overweight and 40% are obese. So right there, we got health issues in general. So,
but you hit the nail on the head. It's huge.
Yeah. And just, little, not a fun fact, but, kind of scaring fact is it was years ago. They did a study where they took cord blood from babies and they tested, and there was over almost 200 known toxins, carcinogens in cord blood already. So that was years ago. So think about now, much more that they probably didn't test for back then. And think of how many toxins are in our bodies every single day. So quality does matter. So,
oh my gosh, I haven't heard that before. That's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
So let's just be aware of it, and then you can make decisions based off that information. It's pretty cool when you just know what's going on, so that you can make decisions. Because that's a lot of the public just doesn't know. They don't realize the deficiencies, the toxicities, and what's that doing. And I love and appreciate our medical system in a lot of ways. But boy, people do not connect the dots between nutrition, supplementation, and their health.
Yeah. Yeah. I think getting into the last question is why is finding someone you can trust that has knowledge needed the most? And I know you kind of talked a little bit about that, but if you want to elaborate more on that.
Yeah, leading cause of death in America is cardiovascular disease and cancer is getting up there and diabetes is getting up there. I think I read in the Doctor's Journal of American Medicine that pharmaceutical drugs is still in the top. It's like third or fourth leading cause of death in America.
Yeah. I think all medical interventions together is number 3 most common death.
Which is like,
so that's medication errors, surgery deaths, anything hospital related. So
which is
number 3.
And so then it's like important for people. If you're watching, I'd want you to understand this concept that the way the systems run right now, your health is not in your hands. We go to the hospital, we go to the doctor to decide where our health goes. And what we try to be at the Healthy Place, and why I think everyone needs a group around them, Dr. Eric right here, maybe the Healthy Place is right here. Maybe you have an acupuncturist, a massage therapist, your medical doctor, your pharmacist. We need a team to help guide us. I think we all, because we don't have expertises in each area, you need someone on your team to guide you in the area of supplementation. And when you have the beauty of having that, if you have a good source for that, which we try to be at the Healthy Place, and we are for a lot of our community, if you have that and then you have a struggle, that person's going to guide you in a natural alternative versus maybe a pharmaceutical drug. And so when you take a pharmaceutical drug, this is a huge concept that blew my mind and lit my fire to go down this road like 17 years ago. Pharmaceutical drugs treat a symptom and then they hurt the body in one way or another. Side effects, negatives to the system, deficiencies created. Natural alternatives treat the same symptom, hopefully, and then helps the body. So it's total paradigm shift. Drugs treat a symptom, hurt the body. Natural alternatives treat a symptom, help the body. And after doing this for 17 years, my mom fought through cancer as a little guy, and a lot of her recovery was through natural alternatives. And I watched that firsthand, and that lit her passion for the supplement industry. She got a job at a health food store. Us kids watched growing up, watching these testimonies, people getting off Vicodin, people getting off antidepressants, anti-anxiety medications, sleep medications, and getting onto something natural to help treat those same symptoms, and then feeling better. And then it starts this fire of moving more and more towards health and wellness and quality of life and being thankful for life and to those around you, this kind of abundance thing going on. And it all sort of builds on each other. And that can all start with having the right person on your team, or a person that's going to help guide you in the right direction. So that's where I'm telling everybody, about, people like Dr. Eric, where it's like, let's move towards that. Health stores, let's move towards that. Let's get some good people on our team to guide us, and realize that you need to take your health into your own hands. You need to be aware of what's going on, what you eat, what you're around, the toxins that you're allowing to enter your body, the supplements that you take, and the right people can guide you. So I'm a real big on team.
Yeah. And that's where, same thing with our philosophy here at ADIO it's just that, it's a whole body approach, whole health approach where, I'm not the only resource that, this is why I like to bring you on here, because, when it comes to supplements, a whole lot more than I do. So I want people to have these resources for them so that they know what they need to do, and, and that they're not in this, alone, and that they do have support when it comes to helping them achieve health. And I think health is a word that kind of gets thrown around loosely, and health doesn't mean just symptom free. It means really functioning at its best, and that's nutrition to supplements to chiropractic and to exercise. All of these things are pieces of that health. And supplements, like I said, supplements more than I do, so that's why I love bringing you on. And I think that quality question was a huge thing, because I talked to so many people are like, yeah, I just went to GNC or I just went to Walgreens. And I'm like, let's look at something else. And which can be hard because it's always price is a factor too.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. And if you're watching right now too, I'll leave you with this is, if you try a natural alternative and it doesn't work, if it's from our store, bring it back. Yeah. And then who's ever guiding you can try because there's like 3 or 4 different really good solutions, maybe in each area. And I would just encourage you, if you're watching, like, don't give up on the natural way, because there are solutions. I've been watching this, we get 6 to 12 emails a day, either emails through Facebook or Trustpilot reviews or Google reviews, whatever, of people getting off their medications, of people getting breakthrough and finding results. And it's worth that fight. So
yeah, definitely. Well, I know you got somewhere to go. So I want to thank you so much for joining me. And we'll have to do this again and talk about some other stuff. Later on.
Yeah. Anyone can.
Topics going on that I think we'll talk about. So.
I love the journey, man. This is fun. Yes. Happy to support.
Well, thank you so much for joining me. And then until next time, if you guys have any questions, reach out to The Healthy Place either on Facebook or Instagram, or give them a call. They're always there. They got the live chat.
My email is tim@findyourhealthyplace.com. So you're always welcome to email as well. Love to help.
Yep. And you can always reach out to us here too at Adio Chiropractic. We're both here to help our community live their best quality life. So thank you guys again for joining us. And thank you, Tim. And everyone have a great day.
Yeah. Thanks, Dr. Eric. Take care, buddy.